Hey, what's going on? It's Prairie Pirates, and I'm back with another Star Wars Unlimited video here today. And I'm very excited because I got three exciting villainy decks that I'm going to take a look at here. And this is for set 4, Jump to Light Speed, for the Star Wars Unlimited game. Anyways, let's get right into it. Let's take a look here at Boba Fett. All right, so list number 1 here is Boba Fett, and this is a Boba Fett red-yellow aggression cunning deck. And if you like super aggressive builds, this will be the deck for you. Also, if you are into a super race kind of game where it's just you and your opponent back and forth trading blows, or if you like wombo combos, this deck has a couple of cards that just go together super well, and so they create a wombo combo kind of effect. Taking a look here, I pulled out 3 of the cards that I found pretty fascinating so far. And then, of course, we have the leader up there as well. Triple Dark Raid, very good card we've seen over the past couple of sets. Came out in the second set, but up here until the 4th one, it's going to be still really strong. In this list, we run a ton of vehicles, which means that Triple Dark Raid gets a lot of value, especially if you can pull a Devastator on turn 6. But we'll get into that. So what Boba Fett does is when you deal non-combat damage, that can be anything from indirect to a ability from a card, he deals 1 indirect damage if you exhaust him. And so with a hunting aggressor there, indirect damage you deal is increased by 1. So that's a very strong combo right there alone. It's a 4-cost 3/6 with the added benefit here that it works extremely well with Boba Fett. And then I wanted to take a closer look at Dengar. Dengar is a 5/4 for 4, so good stats. But then he also, on top of that, has the ability to be a pilot. And what a pilot is essentially an upgrade onto a vehicle. And Dengar has an ability when he is a pilot, and that is the attached unit gains on attack, deal 2 indirect damage to a player. If this is an underworld unit, deal 3 indirect instead. So just for fun's sake here, I put Dengar right next to the Hunting Aggressor, since Hunting Aggressor is underground. That would deal a total of 4 indirect damage, 3 from Dengar, 2 from the or 1 from the Hunting Aggressor. And then if you were able to exhaust Boba Fett as well, the Hunting Aggressor plus Boba Fett again is a total of 7 damage. So that is a pretty crazy combo right there. But let's take a look at the actual list itself. So here's the list, and like I said, it's full of super wild indirect damage cards. And so we see everything from the First Order Stormtrooper to Allegiant General Pride, and then all the way down to the Devastator at 8 cost, where you get to actually start assigning where the indirect damage is going. All of this works super well with Boba Fett, and we already had looked at Dengar and the Hunting Aggressor and Triple Dark Raid, but you can see here where the combo really lies. You can Triple Dark Raid on turn 4, grabbing something like a Ruthless Raider or a Fett's Fire Spray, and all of that stuff, I mean, just pushes damage so quickly, your opponent almost doesn't have time to respond. We also got a couple of cards on the sideboard there, just for specific matchups. One of the things is that the Disabling Fang Fighter is still a really good card at a 3 cost, and if your opponent plays a lot of pilot cards, well, Disabling Fang might be a really good choice to include in your deck. Also, if you run it into a lot of healing decks, Confederate Tri-Fighter, that will be a very strong card as well. And then I've seen a couple of times where Self-Destruct or Planetary Bombardment can pop in there and actually just win you the game. So I've included those as well. But on the main deck, what I wanted to really point out is the synergies with Triple Dark Raid, and of course, Elite P-38 Starfighter. You're going to be dealing a ton of indirect damage to all the places you don't want it to deal. So you might need a P-38 in there to deal that 1 extra damage to a unit to finish it off. So that could give you a leg up for sure. But there's a lot of really strong cards here with the indirect damage. Overall, you're going to be dealing way more damage than a normal aggro list, just because indirect damage, the stats are a little bit higher. So if you had like a TIE Bomber and something else out there, normally you'd be doing 3 to 4 damage to the base. Now you're doing 7 indirect damage, across the board. So there's definitely some combo power here. And if you want to check this or any other deck that is in this video out, I put the links down in the description. So click on those SWODB lists, and you'll be able to go right to the page with the varying lists. And with that said, let's move on to Piet Green. All right, so with this double green Piet list, shout out to Tapeable on Discord. I'm actually borrowing it from him. We've been doing some testing. And this is a total beast, all right? It's got everything you could want. If you like ramp, if you like big, bad mofos, the ships, you got all the ships in here. And then also it's super reliable. There's a ton of card draw power. There's a ton of ways to clear out your opponent's annoying units. And we have a lot of ground sentinel, which is actually super key to keeping Piet on the board, which plays into our entire strategy. So let's take a look at the list. All right, so this list here, it uses a ton of sentinels, like I was mentioning. We got the Gamoran Retainers, we got the B1 Security Team, ERG, Phase 3s, so a ton of early game units that all have sentinel, just to force your opponent to slow down a little bit and deal with your units. It also just helps protect Piet dramatically. And then you'll notice we have 2 out of aspect droids, 3 Viper probes, and 3 Phase 3s. Those are all droids in here for the Invisible Hand. You can see we run 3 copies of that, 6 cost, 6/6. When played and when this unit completes an attack, search the top 8 cards of your deck for a droid unit, reveal it, and draw it. It costs 2 less, and you may play it for free. So the B1 Security Team, Viper Probe, OOM, Phase 3, you can play those for free if it costs 2 or less. So everything but the Phase 3 you get to play for free. The Phase 3 you get to draw into hand. Very, very, very strong ship card there, 6/6 for 6. That means if Piet's deployed, we're playing it for 4, and it can be ambushed in with ECL. So very strong card. And then, you can follow it up with a Overwhelming Barrage or something like that. One of the other cards we should definitely take a look at is the Enterprising Lackeys and Command. So both of those cards are double aspect command cards. Enterprising Lackey is a 4-cost 5/5, and then when defeated, you can defeat a friendly resource and put it into play as a resource. So that's a way to keep getting a big ground unit back on the field over and over again. Really love the Enterprising Lackeys in this list. I think it's going to be the first time we actually see that card played in Premiere, although that's subject to change potentially. And then Command, that allows you to give 2 experience tokens or deal power from your unit to an enemy non-unique. And then you could also put it into play as a resource or return a unit from your discard pile to your hand. Very strong card. All 4 of those are definitely going to see, places where you could use it. Typically what I've seen Tapeable doing is putting 2 experience tokens on a unit and then smashing something, or putting it into play as a resource to ramp up. So both ways, very, very strong. And then one other ship I wanted to take a look at, we got Devastator and the Architans. I'll go over both. The Architans, we're playing that on 6 resources, which could be on turn 4, I believe is the earliest you could play that with ramp. And that means you're getting a 7/8 on turn 4 with ambush in the space arena. It's going to be insanely good. And when it attacks and defeats a non-later unit, you can put that unit into play as a resource. So very, very strong ramp card. Helps you get out Devastator too a little bit later. And Devastator, of course, is a 10/10 Sentinel Overwhelm and deals damage equal to your resource pile. So tremendous, tremendous ships here. And it just allows you to smash away with these massive capital ships. And your opponent, can't do anything because you're deploying them so early with Piet's ability. Last but not least, let's take a look at Thrawn and see what he has to offer. Thrawn here is a blue-red list, and you'll definitely like this list if you are a control player, if you like big flashy plays like the Planetary Bombardment, or if you like just feeling like your leader is useful. Okay, because Thrawn is going to activate every single round, or he should in most games. just because you have a ton of units that he can use to trigger his ability, and it's a very strong ability. So if you like feeling like you're getting the bang for your buck out of your leader, Thrawn is a very, very good choice. And I pulled out these three cards. All right, so we got Director Krennic. He is kind of a mainstay as an early game play for us. He's a 2/2 shielded. The first unit you play each round that has a when defeated ability costs one less. So it's almost a way to get kind of a ramp going in blue. It's not ramp for sure. It's making things cheaper, but it's allowing you to play above curve cards. And then we have like an example here, Ruthless Raider. It's a 6 cost, but it has a when defeated, so Krennic would play that for 5, which is a huge upgrade because that allows you to get the Ruthless Raider out in 5, and then maybe follow it up with a Planetary Bombardment, dealing 12 damage. So there's a couple of things here that are super, super strong. I really like this deck and how these cards interact with each other all the time. So let's go ahead and take a look at the list. So Thrawn Red, we're running Tarkin Town in this list, which synergizes so well with the indirect damage we're dealing and with our ability to have control over the entire board. We use early game units like Val and Rukai Gunship to generate a damage lead, and then using cards like Director Krennic and Heavy can kind of give us a board presence that our opponent can't keep up with because we're destroying all their stuff. And then we've got our mid to late game cards where we are just destroying their entire arena with stuff like Power of the Dark Side, Merciless Contest, Bombing Run, and Planetary Bombardment. Merciless Contest is kind of an underrated card in this list because it allows you to choose which when defeated ability you're going to trigger, which is very nice for going up into opponents who are not triggering your when defeateds, when you want them to. So, and then late game here, Ruthless Raider, Chimera, Fleet Interdictor, Devastator, and Avenger, all finisher type cards that synergize so well with Thrawn. As a yellow player, I'm really jealous of this Chimera. I think it's super strong, and the synergy is awesome with Thrawn there. So, this is a very strong list as well. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with for all three of these. If you have any questions, comments, definitely put it down below. And I'll see you either on the Twitch channel. I believe we've got some games coming up for the Take the Initiative very soon. And I'll hopefully be getting back here on YouTube and posting another video very, very soon. Anyways, have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.